Alright, boys. As you all know, we've had to delay this one a couple fucking times. First time was IRL. No, excuse me. First time was the Alliance CTA. Then it was my IRL. Then it was a fucking CTA, and now it's IRL again. So this has been one in the fucking coming. Alright. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off with some of the topics we've got planned for you here. We're going to go with wartime readiness, PvP training, general activity and protocols, and our deployments. I'm going to start with wartime readiness here, and then we'll work our way down. If you got any questions, feel free to save them for the end of the actual meeting, so I can go over everything in bulk whilst I fucking talk my ass off here. Alright, so with wartime readiness, what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be focusing on the production of corporate specific doctrines instead of alliance ones. The reason I'm going to be having you guys focus on corporate specific stuff as opposed to alliance based is a twofold thing. One, because we can actually produce them for relatively cheap locally. They're inexpensive and exhaustible, and they're relatively easy for you guys to train. So it doesn't require a whole lot of setup, it doesn't require a shit ton of training, there's no super fucking bling options, there's no 2 bill nightmares or anything like that for you guys to get into. All of the fittings are going to be under 150 mil at the most. That's probably the highest you're going to be seeing any one of the fittings, unless it's some of the ESS stuff that can get up to 200, 300 or so mil. But again, in comparison to the Alliance variants, it's relatively inexpensive. Most of the shit you're going to be seeing is under 150 mil. I'm going to have you guys getting ready for that, because as you've seen already on the northern side of ESO, we've been having quite a bit of traffic from Pandemic Horde, from other groups coming in, hitting structures. Reloaded Sov just flipped today, so that's going to be a big thing when it comes to groups noticing that there's a Sov flip moving in, looking for opportunities, as you've seen with the G Magic Gate that just got hit by some Maracuga group that's been hired to come and harass, or has been consistently harassing us for a couple of months now. So as you guys continue to prepare for that, your skill trainings are going, your doctrines are training, and you're buying up all the ships that we're producing, make sure you try to have at least 2 of the corporate stock doctrines on standby. One, ideally, if you're able to do so, I'd like you to have 2 of a PvP option, so like a direct frontline sort of thing, 2 logistics, and 2 utility. That's the ideal. You don't need to necessarily aim for the ideal if it ends up being a bit too expensive for folks who are on the newer side. For those of you that are a little bit more experienced and have slightly deeper-ish pockets, then I would expect you to do so, because you've got that sort of responsibility and you've got the leeway to be able to afford the options to do so. Again, it's not a hard line, it's just an ideal. I would like you to try to aim for it though, simply so that we've got that sort of stuff covered and you've got a basis to fall back on in case anything happens to your income production within the area, which is very possible. To those who don't know by what I mean on that statement specifically, or who haven't been in a war, who haven't experienced a war, proper war, as opposed to like high-sec stuff or wormhole things and all that sorts of jazz. In Null, when you've got a war that's happening effectively from regional connection that's pushing forward to your area, usually what people will do is they will come in offensively, you'll get your structures engaged, and there will be consistent pings for fleet operations, for strats and CTAs and that sort of stuff around the clock. Predominantly in the US, EU, early EU, and late US time zone is where they'll be hitting across the board. Sometimes there are fleets in the Australian time zone, sometimes there are fleets in the Chinese, And sometimes there are fleets really, really early European times and before downtime and slightly after downtime as well. But those are on the rare side. You do have groups that hit those, but most of the fleets you're going to be seeing going to be in the European US time zones. So be prepared for that one. Those operations will screw up your money making. So if you make money doing moon mining, anomaly ratting generally speaking, or exploration, for example, your income is going to be cut. I don't mean this in the sense that I'm going to stop you, because I'm not. I mean this in the sense that the enemy is going to stop you if you aren't aware of the way that shit works. You're going to have enemy fleets coming in through the northern front, which is the northern side of Easteria where reloaded space used to be. As we get hit by those guys, as we also have entrances of folks coming in from Seapune, from our side of ESO, the back end side, where Skeleton Crew and Zerg are, will be getting hit on two fronts, effectively from that side. So I'm trying to prepare you for readiness and cheaper offensive sort of stuff as opposed to more expensive things, because I'm going to be pushing for the corporation to do specific small guerrilla warfare to assist the alliance with. The reason I'm going to have us do that is because it's going to get all of you trained into what actual guerrilla warfare is like, because guerrilla warfare is a mix of the fleet stuff that you've been on at the moment with alliance operations, as well as some of the hunting fleets that I've taken you on, or Beaky's taken you on, any of the other guys have taken on, or you've done yourselves on, just off the handle roams. It's going to be that sort of stuff, but a lot more focused. There's going to be a lot more specifics to it. There's going to be points of contention that you need to go ahead and control. And there's going to be no-fly zone specifically for people who you cannot allow to get past certain areas to maintain objective control of things. That's effectively what wartime readiness is preparing you guys for all of that stuff, because that's going to be upcoming in the next few months, if not weeks, depending on how fast the enemy wants to move. My prediction is it's going to be after the sea agreement nullifies properly is when we'll see a full-scale offensive, so around February. So you haven't got too long to prepare for it. So if you haven't been doing so already, I would stock up on ISK, I would stock up on resources, blueprints, copies, modules, munitions, that sort of stuff. Anything that you can utilize to prepare yourself, so that you don't need to go out and buy something, so that you don't need to rely on the market, you don't need to rely on your own income and that sort of stuff. You can just grab what you need from your own stocks. It's very important that you try to do something like that, or at least have some form of usability of your own stockpile of things within the next month and a half, I'd say. 2 months at the maximum. Alright. On to PvP and training. I'm going to be pushing you guys, as I said, towards corporate doctrines. The doctrines I'm going to be pushing you towards specifically is Wild Dogs. Wild Dogs is going to be contentious to how we go about our operations. It's really easy to get into. There's T1 and T2 variants for it. It's fully fleshed out. You can take a look at it in the corporate fittings right now if you just type in whiskey.delta. So for guys who don't know the phonetic alphabet, that's W.D. And you will come up with a whole set of cruiser doctrines, shield and armor variants, e-warfare, logistics, damage, and different variations of damage. So heavy assault missiles, heavies, RLMs, that sort of stuff. Each one of those has different scopes of operation. There's also utility boats that tie on top of the e-warfare as well. So like denial boats and things like that, which is going to be useful for you to get into and understand how they play on the battlefield, as opposed to being just a damage dealer or just a logi or just a fast tackle. Right, you've then got the full scope to understand each key component in a fleet operation. So I'm going to be pushing you guys towards that when it comes. Then there's general activity and protocols. So you guys already know what CTAs are, you already know what strats are. what I need from all of you guys across the board is a little bit more activity. I know some folks have had IRL, some of you guys have had some major IRL. I'm not trying to take away from that or tell you to, hey, get the fuck on or whatever. All I'm saying is if you've got the ability to do a little bit of extra training, a little bit of extra lessons, or just poke me for any sorts of things you haven't learned yet or want to learn, please do so. It's really important that you get this knowledge now, as opposed to getting it later and not being ready in time. The sooner
Don't tell me what to do.
Fuck you, Borath. The sooner you're able to get this shit out of the way, and know what you're going on about, how you're able to do specific things, the sooner you don't have to go back to it, and the sooner you don't have to try to relearn it. And the final topic here is deployments. So there are 2 deployments I want to have us doing stuff. This is going to be happening in the next, let's see, it is the 11th. So it will be next week or the week after, where we'll be doing deployments. There'll be 2 deployments. There'll be a Black Ops one and a faction warfare one. The Black Ops one is undecided at the moment because there's still a couple of things I want to tie over that may align with alliance stuff or corporate things, but I'll figure that one out as I go. I haven't had the chance to properly flesh that one out. The faction warfare one is going to be going ahead though. We're going to be going and doing Angel stuff first, so that we can get the Azerial for our Titan pilots who need that. And then from there, we'll be taking a vote across the board for folks who want to be doing other specific faction warfare stuff. So if any of you guys want to go with Caldari or Galente or Amaro or the Minis and that sort of stuff, it's completely up to you. We'll put it up to a vote, and we'll let folks who want to be able to utilize the faction warfare focus of the corporation put their stuff to a vote and then go from there. And if it wins by decision, then it wins by decision. We'll go with that one. That's what you're going to be looking forward to. These deployments will be ongoing for a while. So with the specification of the deployments themselves, will be deployed probably for the good part of the new year, up till the good part of the new year. So you're looking at about 2-month plus deployment. This doesn't mean that we're going to be like moving everything over to one particular staging or anything like that. It's going to be similar to what we've done with Sigma. We're going to be going up to a place like DO6, deploying, putting a couple clones down, and then you will be buying up ships there locally, and then going on operations.